What's going on, everyone? Adam Swartz here. You know, it's been a long time. I think I remember how to do this once or twice. We have an interesting person today. She is hands down one of my favorite people to watch on Instagram. And luckily, she's from Riverside. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, in my world, and if you follow me on social, you know, it's all about business and grinding and working hard and nonstop and corporate world and all that stuff. And it's so nice to see someone who's totally opposite of that. And so I really soak up everything she posts, because I think some people see what I do and they think that, oh, you have to be that way to be the, level of success or whatever. But I have a perfect example of what another level of success looks like today. And that is the ability to check out. And I'm super excited to ask a lot of questions today because I have tons of them. And two, maybe you'll rub off on me a little bit. Definitely. And to slow down a little bit. And then the third thing is I'm super excited because we're going to do a little card reading.
Yes.
After the podcast.
Yes.
So what's going on?
What's up, Adam?
Oh,
hello,
my gosh.
everybody.
So before the podcast started, you were telling us like kind of how you got into this like spiritual world. And it seems like, based on what I see what you post, like there's a good like community of people that are like into, like that are like hanging out and chill and enjoying life and things like that. So why don't you tell the people how you kind of went down this journey from corporate world to where you're at now?
Yeah. So the truth is, the first thing was that like my first love died. And it was kind of tragic. Mm-hmm. I was living in Memphis doing real estate, getting my real estate license, doing the whole like investment property thing. And then this happened, and I get back to Memphis. He visits me in a dream, and the dream was like super vivid, real, and kind of freaked me out a little bit. The next day I call his mom. I'm like, dude, Devin visited me. Maybe some of you remember him, Devin Davis. Devin visited me in a dream. And she's like, honey, he's visiting people. You're not the only one. And I'm just like, what? This is crazy. I mean, my grandparents kind of believed in angels. I was raised Catholic. So it was kind of shocking. And that was in 2009. So then I just started asking questions, like, what is truth? And I was being guided. And then moved back to California, got back into corporate. Like I worked at a hair salon running the front desk of Carlton Hair. And then moved on to working for a real estate place in Huntington Beach. It was UDR, and it was like this leasing apartments job. So it was like all about the closing deals and like shit.
Closing deals.
Yes. And I don't know, something in me was different. I mean, I couldn't really focus. Like I wasn't closing deals. I was making enough to like,
survive.
Survive.
Yeah.
It was survival point. And then I started to listen to Dr. Wayne Dyer, and his book, The Wisdom of the Ages, just like literally changed my whole perspective. So every day I would drive PCH on the way to Huntington. I lived in Newport, and I would drive the coast just to kind of get that like calming energy before going back into the corporate life. And I was listening to 101 Ways to Transform Your Life. And it was like 101 thoughts, positive thoughts. And I was literally reprogramming my subconscious mind from negative thinking and fear and, oh shit, I gotta like make ends meet all the time, to, wow, life is really magical. Excuse my language.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay. And I think it was January 2011, I was starting to just like really get some like wildfire in me to make a change. I was like, I live at the beach. This is literally my dream. I never go to the beach. I have no time to enjoy my life. This sucks. What am I gonna do? So I just start like praying and like doing my intentions and like writing my intentions and kind of like making a big leap of faith. And then I'm like researching something. I think it was called like woofers and farmers. It was about farmers, and people would go and like work on farms for trade and learn stuff. And I was like, well, this sounds kind of interesting. And my grandpa raised me like in the garden, so I had that kind of in my roots. So one day I just quit my job. I text my manager. I'm like, yo, I quit. I wrote a nice little email. Everyone was like, woo, congratulating me. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, everyone's congratulating me for quitting because they saw something. Like, they were like, man, you're breaking free of whatever, the chains. And then more synchronicity started to happen. Books were like appearing seemingly out of nowhere that I was hearing about. And I was reading and just diving into stuff. My grandparents were really sick, so I kind of started, that was when I started house sitting. Their house was empty. They had cats. No one was there. So it was a big spiritual transformation. And then I moved, I think it was in like June of 2011. I got rid of my phone, got rid of my car. I moved to a farm, and here I am.
Yeah.
So many things happened in between. But I started learning. I was manifesting, if you know that word, manifesting. I would just like think of something, desire it, and it would happen. Or I would write to someone who was like the perfect link to get what I wanted or what I needed. So Dr. Bruce Lipton is someone that I'm deeply involved with. And I got a scholarship to go to it was actually his last like training, and that was in 2011 in the fall. And I got certified to do this thing called Psych, which was like this subconscious reprogramming tool. So that's something I use also in like my intuitive readings and my spiritual guidance, Psych. So helping people reprogram those like negative beliefs that he says, and it's like science, like from the first 0 to 6 years, you're programming. Your brain is literally downloading everything that you're seeing, everything that you're hearing. So if you were like, being a kid and, enjoying your life, and your parents are like, no, stop. Like, come, you need to like go to bed, or you need to do this. There's like these programs. So
do you feel like a lot of people are in this day and age like pushed against being negative and negative thoughts?
What do you mean?
Just like in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a lot of it. I'm like, I want to help everybody. That's like my biggest issues. Like, I want to help everybody, but I need to just focus on the one, because one by one, that's how we change the world.
It's crazy. Like, one of my coaches named Kevion, he's all about, speak what you want. Mm-hmm. And so that was like one of the biggest coaching, and it would be funny because we'd be on the call and he'd be like, all right, just, like, what do you want? And then you'd have to like say it out loud, and you sound so stupid or you feel stupid saying it. And he's like, I am. He'd be like, every day I wake up and I say, I am this, and this. And he's like, you say that every day, and it works. And it's like something that I always like go for and then come back and then like forget about it and like go. And then like this office, I remember when I'm going to open an office one day. and I would say that all the time. I'm going to open, and I opened it. But then like, I don't ever do it. I always forget to do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's crazy when your mind just opens up to what you're looking for. You can get that. Yeah. Even when it's like maybe not the direct line that you thought you were going to get there, but all of a sudden this person comes in and this person comes in. Now all of a sudden you're piecing everything together, and now it's like, oh, I'm there.
Exactly. I remember this at one point. I was like, man, what am I going to do? I want to, get to the next levels. I want to keep going. I want to manifest more. And I was writing on Post-its because I would forget too. I wake up, get busy.
Yeah, you get busy in life.
Do the garden, whatever. Yeah. I posted Post-its literally all over my room. So everywhere I look, it's either a vision board or a positive thought, like I am loved, I'm deserving, all these like simple things. Sometimes I would get more specific with like my vision boards. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so important to just use those I am statements and kind of affirm what you want. It's already there in the quantum field. It's already manifest. If you can think it, it's already manifested. So now it's getting yourself in that vibrational alignment to allow those things to physically appear in your life, like you've done amazing with this place and your business. And
then, so I always see like in these big groups, right? Like, so obviously say you got rid of your cell phone, you kind of went off the map. Like, so how are you like now are you back in the cell phone world? And, like, connecting?
Freaking love Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
You're always on there posting tons of stuff.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I have a small group. It's not like I don't buy followers or whatever. It's just this small, like inch by inch, like little group that we've created. I call them our cosmic family. And I feel like sometimes like this year I've taken a big break from it, just with all the craziness going on and the negativity.
Yeah, I have to take breaks from it.
Just getting like caught up in like the polarization of the right, the left, the up, the down, and I'm just like, whoa. So I'm back on it now.
That's the funny thing is I hate social media.
Do you?
As much as people think like, how do you hate it? Like your whole world is built around it. I'm like, I was on vacation last week. No one knew I was even gone.
Yeah.
Like when I'm in somewhere, I'm in that moment. Like I don't need to like
show everyone.
Hey everyone, this is what I'm doing. Hey everyone, this is what I'm doing. Hey everyone. Like when I'm there, I'm like, I don't even have my phones on me half the time because you have to like check out. Because that's work for me.
Yeah.
Instagram's a job. Facebook's a job. And LinkedIn's a job. YouTube's a job. Twitter's a job. Like.
Yeah, I see that.
So when people start going, you on TikTok? I'm like, dude, I do not need one more thing.
Right.
I have enough. And I can't dance and I can't sing. So TikTok is not my world. No. So obviously you guys are always, I always see, I mean, it's sad because you told me that it burnt down, but you used to stay at this house.
Yeah.
That was so amazing. Whose house was it? I literally would always see this house. I'm like, God, this house looks awesome to go to.
Right. It was my like escape from reality. And so let's see, I think it was like 2016 or something. I was house sitting at Bruce Lipton's house, and his assistant walks in. Her name was Sally, and she had just lost her son, and he was exactly my age. Like we were a couple months apart. And it was like, whoa, I was a medium at that time. I was really learning mediumship and how to connect with deceased loved ones. So like I felt his spirit just like, whoosh, come in strong. And I was like, there is something with this lady. One day I'll figure it out. Well, I think it was like one more year and she retired from being Bruce Lipton's business manager, personal assistant. And she got a RV and she was going to go traveling with her husband. And she's like, well, I need a house sitter. And I was like, done. I go to her house and I'm like, oh my God.
That house is amazing.
God. Amazing. Like they had been building it for over 30 years, these gardens and like chicken coop. And they had a cute little French cottage that I would stay in. Man, so it's tragic this year.
When did it burn down?
So I was getting ready. Every month I would go up there September and I'd have the whole month up there just like chilling and gardening and enjoying life. So I'm like getting ready. It's my birthday, so I was having a present sent up there, and I text her. I'm like, hey, there's a present going to the house. Like, is that okay? Will you be there to receive it? And she's like, Nicky, check the news. And I was like, I don't watch the news. What do you mean? I checked the news and I'm like, oh shit, like Santa Cruz is on fire. Oh my God. I just like, it was like a complete, I don't know what it was, like traumatic shock to my system. She's like, I didn't get the cat. And I'm like, no, I had like bond with this cat. And the next day it was gone. So everything burned. I mean, it was like, there is nothing left. So it was a huge lesson in what actually matters in life. And I'm so glad because earlier this year I was up there in February and I had a powerful card reading. Like I was doing a card reading for my Instagram and I was sitting on the little, there's like the pond that they have with like this Buddha statue and just like a really peaceful little like area. The cat would always come up with me right there. And the card reading was, I was like channeling this like fire for Mother Earth. It was like this like driving up the 5 on the way to Santa Cruz from Riverside, so much like desertification, so many trees being cut down, water crisis, all this stuff. Well, I come from like knowing that regenerative farming creates water. Like there's so many things, so many solutions in the soil right under our feet. So I was like upset seeing all the fracking and all this. So I'm like doing this card reading and then the last card was fire. And I was like talking about the fire beings, or like the fire as like this consciousness, as like the Native Americans would, you know, very much honor the fire. So it was just a trip. It's like my soul knew, like, you better enjoy this place. And I was crying during that time. That was, in February. And I'm like, you know, it's just a real good lesson. Like, you don't really know what's going to happen. It's really important to enjoy your life, because enjoy your loved ones, enjoy your animals. Yeah, enjoy every day.
Do you struggle coming back to like Riverside and like the city?
Oh yeah, big time.
Like when you come back,
5G, like the 5G towers going up is like real. I'm like drive by and I'm like zing. Yeah. I'm super sensitive, and I'm used to being in more of a natural environment. But yeah.
That's what always Rogan says. I don't know if you watch Joe Rogan, but
Rogan
always says, he's like, I feel so much better when I'm just out in the forest, like hunting, or like no cell service, and I'm just out there in nature. He's like, I just feel better.
Yeah.
Naturally, you know. He's like, I don't know if I believe in 5G or all that stuff, whatever. He's like, I just personally know when I'm out, he's like, I just feel like better.
Well, the truth is, like, there's no escaping 5G, because 5G is like in the atmosphere now. So you can be on a mountaintop soon and you're gonna have cell service no matter where you're at. So
it's gonna be crazy.
It is.
I feel like this has been like a big turning point, 2020. Like, I don't know, in so many aspects. It's like, I don't know. It's gonna be weird. Like, I don't know what's gonna be in the future. Like, I feel like this is a big turning point.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how many people are like so angry about stuff, when it's just like, you didn't even care about it a year ago. Like Trump or this or Biden or Democrat, liberal, Black Lives Matter. Like, you didn't even think about this stuff, and now all of a sudden it's the biggest thing ever, and you're hating people for it, and like you like hate people that you were friends with before that.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're seeing a lot of the division.
Yeah.
And what I know to be true is history sometimes repeats itself. And
for sure.
Divide and rule, divide and conquer has been a tactic used by the few to control the many. So
how do you guys do? So like, obviously with COVID this year, like, I haven't really seen you doing too many get-togethers and some stuff like that. Are you guys just kind of like keeping it on the back burner right now?
Yeah, we're starting to gather again. Like, we're gonna do a sister circle on Thursday. So, but it's been online. Like, we've just had to like accept the online gathering. But it's hard. I think a lot of us are starting to feel that socialization like aspect missing. So we'll see what happens. But
so how do you? So what did it take? Do you think that when you were like kind of transitioning into like this way of life or the way to think or whatever, was it just like you just finally like opening your mind up and just being like questioning more things? Because I think that's the problem. A lot of people don't question anything.
Yeah.
And they just kind of go like
with the mainstream.
Yeah, that's why I don't watch the news.
That's exactly what I did. People
go, why don't you watch the news? I'm like, dude, they just want to tell me what I think I want to hear.
Yeah.
And I was like, it doesn't matter.
And it's actually programming you. So people don't realize, like, it's called TV programs because they're literally programming your mind. They use alpha waves, which gets right into your brain.
You big conspiracy theorist?
I would say yeah.
Yeah.
But where does conspiracy theorist come from? That's like a CIA term that they created. So a lot of us conspiracy theorists are being, I don't know, it's like they're coming true.
Well, that's the problem, I think, is that if you question anything, you're a conspiracy.
That's exactly it.
So if you question the norm, you're a conspiracy. Listen, I don't know if I believe like lizard people. Like,
yeah, and who knows? Like, how do we know until we're revealed more truths? And that's all I've ever cared about. And since my awakening, it's like, I just want the truth. That's it. Just the truth.
Yeah.
Waking up to the truth. That used to be my Facebook name.
Oh, really? So right now, like, obviously you can't go house sit and whatever. So what is it kind of like you kind of like fill up your time with every day? Is it like studying more? Is it like more research?
A lot of research, a lot of studying. Just recently I'm getting more back in, because I feel like I lost my practice, like my yoga practice. My mind was just going crazy, like kind of fearful, like a lot of fear was coming up of like, what's going to happen? like, are we going to go in concentration camps? Like
Yeah.
anything was coming up. And I was just doing a lot of shadow work. So I'm getting back to my Kundalini yoga. That has always been since 2013. It's been something, breath work, Kundalini yoga, and meditation. And that's something I wanted to talk to you about.
I'm terrible at it.
Yeah. I'm like, there's some messages that were coming through last night about.
I'm terrible at meditating. I try to do, what's those things called? Float tank?
Yeah.
I tried to do a float tank once. I was talking to my buddy Cody yesterday, coming back from mountain biking. He's like, because I was talking about like, we want to do, what's it called? Where you like stand in the tube and like they hit you with
cryo.
Like, we want to do that this week.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, you ever done the floating? I'm like, yeah, once. He's like, how was that? I said, I hated it. He's like, why? I'm like, dude, I literally was like laying there. He's like, what, do you get claustrophobic? No. I was like so bored and I couldn't turn my mind off. And I was like, all right, like, has it been an hour yet? I just want to get out of here and go do something. Mm-hmm. That is like.
The doing. That's doing.
Yeah, it struggles.
It's learning to be. And that's
because I get bored very easily. Mm-hmm. That's my problem. I am like, all right, I'm bored. Like, let's go do something else. Like, so no, I can't. Like meditating, I've tried it. Like I'll like go through spurts of it because I feel like it's good and you need it. But I'm like 5 minutes into it, I'm like, all right.
That's all you need though.
I gotta go.
Literally all you need. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to just connect to that inner being,
mm-hmm.
or whatever you want to call it. That sort of stillness within. And then you go do your
I think
day.
that's why I'm enjoying mountain bike riding.
Yes.
Because it's
that's
like
meditation
I'm out
right there.
in the forest or out in the hills by myself or me and one other guy. No cell phones, no nothing. We just go out and ride and just us two and, going through the forest and stuff. Like we already have a trip planned next year to go to like Mammoth. Then we're going to Washington, then Vancouver, Canada if we can get in if COVID's over. Mm-hmm. And then come back, so we can just ride in the forest and just kind of like be there. Then I have a van, so we can just sleep in the van.
Hell
I have a Sprinter.
Nice.
I know. My other buddy wants me to turn the Sprinter into a camper. He's like, so you ever want to like turn that into a camper? I'll borrow it anytime you want me to. I'm like, Brian, stop, dude. I've seen you traveling around in the van.
Yep.
How was that?
It's really fun.
Is it?
During the whole process of living on the farm, I had no car, so I manifested an RV and just started. Me and my boyfriend at the time, Nick, we were together for 10 years. We like renovated this Winnebago, just like lived in it.
Was he living on the farm with you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was really, really, really fun. Like so crazy and that was like before van life was cool.
Yeah.
I was like,
van life's really cool now.
Now it's like cool. I'm like, damn, it's like
you were part of the you're the hip. You brought the train to the table.
Yeah. So
I know, I love it. It's like, live out of a van. It's like so accepted now too. Like, you have a van, you converted it into like somewhere you could live. That's so awesome.
You don't know how much I got from my family, from people like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? This is amazing. Like, I don't pay rent. I can fit in a parking spot.
Yeah, my ex-fiance wanted to do that so bad with her now husband. She's like, we're just going to buy a van and just like travel. I'm like, you have a kid? She's like, yeah, I know, but he's like 1 year old, but let's do it. I'm like, do it. Go for it. Mm-hmm. So like you just mentioned that like you got a lot of crap from your family. Was it a hard transition to like deal with family and friends when you were like switching over? Like if I ever made that switch, people would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like
especially hard for me because people make a lot of money off of me. Mm-hmm. And that's something I always think is funny when people call me and I'm like, you're only calling me because the more I do, the more you make. So, or the more I do, the more you do, then the more money you make. Like, come on, like stop acting like you care. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, just want to check in. Like, yeah, don't worry.
Are you doing it?
Are you closing? Are you closing deals? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how was that transition for you?
It was honestly like my little sensitive spirit. It was really hard because I'm one of the youngest grandkids in the family, and yeah, it was hard. It was hard, especially my family coming from being like very Christian. Mm-hmm. They're like, why do you have a Buddha in your house and like little crystals? Like that was like wrong. And I'm just like, I had to just continue to stand my ground and to learn, like, you know what? Other people's opinions of me really doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. What matters is how I feel.
Yeah.
And that was so hard to get through in the beginning, but now it's like one of my uncles who gave me like the hardest time. Like he's like the real conservative uncle. Mm-hmm. I remember like a couple years ago at Christmas, he comes in his pajamas and he sits down at the dinner table and he's like, so Nicky, what's up with the Kundalini? And I was like, what? He's like, I know about the Kundalini. I'm like, what? Okay, the Kundalini energy. It's like, it was just wild. It was like, okay, judgment is the biggest issue here. Like,
yeah.
And when we can learn how to like release judgment and things change. It's like return to the garden.
Well, I think that's interesting. Like, it's funny like how what you're saying is kind of the same stuff that like positive like business coaches say, but it's like separated in like a different world, right? Same thing. Like people always just say like the hardest thing, you're gonna get judged with everyone. Everything you do, someone's judging you. You got to not care. You got to be so like into your core, so confident. Like when I came into this world, I had no idea what I was doing, but I was super confident. So then I rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because they're like, who's this young kid who's super confident, right? So you start leaning farther back, you realize that. See, you start getting away from it.
Like getting comfortable.
Yeah, start leaning back. Why do you think we don't have couches in here? People will be like, yeah, what's up? But and the same thing, like I remember people used to like give me crap and like I got a bad rep for a long time. I still have one. And I used to tell people, I'm like, dude, I'm just like, I'm a young kid who's not confident. I'm scared and I'm just trying to like figure this out. And I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm trying to believe in myself right now. Like, I don't really care if you're upset on how I act. Like, I have to do what I have to do. And, you know, a lot of people are like, I can't believe you used to be that way and you were this and that. I'm like, dude, I was just a young kid trying to figure this out, you know? Yeah. I was a young kid in a new world trying to be super confident.
Yeah.
And that confidence maybe rubbed you the wrong way, but I'm sorry. Like, it is what it is. Even, like, sometimes still now, people are like, you're a jerk. And I'm like, no, I'm not. They're like, you're a jerk. I'm like, no, I don't have time to fluff you up. I'm not here to protect your confidence or your ego. That's not my job. My job is to be me, and your job is to be you. And if I hurt your feelings, then
that's on you.
That's on you. Yeah. To allow someone, you have a confidence issue. So I tell Brittany, my assistant, I'm like, don't worry. I have so much confidence that you don't need to have any. It's my job to have that.
And it'll rub off on her.
Oh, for sure. She's a savage. Only to me and her husband. I always tell her all the time, Brittany, if you hear this, I'm going to cut this. Adrian, cut this and send it just to Brittany. I know. She like cocks an attitude sometimes. I'm like, man, if you were just like this with everyone. Actually, I need her to be super nice because that makes the world go around.
And balances out.
We're the yin and yang.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Amazing.
So you, obviously, and now kind of people are starting to like get used to what you put out. You know, you're at it like 8-9 years. So like, what is some of the advice you would give to someone? Because I try to use these things to teach people some things, you know, trying to improve the world.
Absolutely.
What is something that you think that really helped you? You know, obviously some people can't go extreme as you did, but just looking at you and having this conversation, I can tell like just how clear your mind is, right? What was like the first step that you took? Was it just like reading more books? Was it just like kind of like just slowing down a little bit and like starting to question more things, or?
Yeah, it was definitely slowing down and giving myself that time with myself. So one of the biggest things in the beginning was alone time. And a lot of people have a struggle with that. They're like, they can't be with themselves. The mind goes crazy. They start to, you know, think about the negative things. And so learning to be with yourself, that time will create the, you know, the yoga, you know, or just picking what feels good to me. That's what I'm going to do. No matter what anyone else thinks, I'm going to do what feels good to me. So whether that's reading a book, reading cards, playing my singing bowls, or singing, chanting has been something I've been working on for this year, opening the throat. But yeah, being alone, learning to be alone. Go sit with a tree. Don't need people to be around you to, you know, boost your ego. Yeah. You know, really getting in touch with that inner spirit and that soul aspect of.
Are you super important, like who you like? Are you very easily to cut people out around you?
Oh yeah.
Like, I think tip for anyone out there that you're not happy with your life is, like, seriously, as dumb as the stupid memes are, like, you just look around you. Like, I have cut so many people out, and I am so fast to cut them out. You don't need 20 friends.
Nope.
You need 5.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, you don't need that many people. And if it doesn't work out, boom. Like, I tell people I have the 2-strike rule. If you don't 2-strike rule, you're out.
That's beautiful.
The 2-strike rule is the best thing ever.
30 strikes, and I'm like, shoot.
2-strike rule is the best rule ever.
Sometimes I'm too nice, but that's huge to just cut people out when you know in your heart. And your body never lies. I use the body as a lie detector. If you're like feeling ill around someone, or you're just like gut feeling is like
I've been doing it to my parents.
Absolutely.
I've done it to my mom and dad many times. Yeah, and obviously I bring them back, but like all the time. I'm like, you know what? If you're bad negative vibe here, like you just gotta go home. Like, you gotta leave my house. And then when you get in a better vibe, you can come back. Yeah. This is my domain. Me and my mom are like roommates. Like sometimes we're like fighting, and she had to move home this year because some bad things had kind of transpired in her relationship. So, learning like, Mom, you need to like go, or I'm going. Yeah. Because like we just need space. There's no harsh feelings, but I need my energy to be clear, and you're loud. Yeah. Yeah. So, I like quietness. Quiet. I do not like loud. Even when I'm on the phone, like my phone, I've gotten worse over the years too. Like my buddies, they all have kids, and they'll start screaming. I'm like, all right, man, I gotta go. Yep. And they're like, what? And I'm like, dude, I just can't. Like, it's been a long day. Like, you know. And then they're like, what do you? I don't even hear it. I'm like, you're so used to the noise. I'm not. Like, I'm used to living alone. Like, my dog barks. I'm like, dude, shh. Stop. I have rules here. No barking zone, right? Which Crash feel better today. He's upset. He's sick today. Aww. My dog. The one who's on the coffee table. No, she's Abigail's fine. No, the boy's sick today. He woke me up in the middle of the night sick. So I'll send him some healing vibes. I gave him some pumpkin this morning, so organic pumpkin. So hopefully the CBD too for dogs helps a lot. So you surround yourself with the right people. There you go. See, I know. I just like playing with it. I don't know. I feel like so cool, and I'm like, I know. First time on a podcast. You should start your own podcast. You know, that'd be pretty interesting, actually. It really would be. You could interview other people that are in your circle. That would be so fun. Dude. Can I use your space? Anytime you want. Anytime. Yeah. I have people that use it all the time. That's why I built it. Okay. I built this space for other people to use, not for me to use. Like you said, I haven't done one of these in months. Just because I get so busy with work. That's like, we started this podcast room when COVID hit because we used to go on locations and do podcasts with people, but we're like, well, we can't go anywhere now. So I was like, okay, well, we weren't using this office anyway. So I'm like, let's use this as a podcast room. We had all the stuff other than like the lights and stuff. We're like, okay, let's put it up. And then like I started having clients come to me and buddies come to me. They're like, dude, I can't like work right now. Like, oh, this is really bothering me. OCD. Sorry. Me too. Yeah. I'm like that. And I was just like, they were like, I'm like, dude, just start interviewing people. Like one of the guy that comes in a lot is a guy who does, he's a baseball trainer. I'm like, start interviewing coaches and interviewing players and just start pushing out valuable content to people to help them out in these hard times. And so now it's like he comes in once a week and he's like, dude, you don't even know how much this has helped me out. And it's like, I built this office for other people, not for me. Yes. I don't need this place for me. I mean, I'm good. I don't need to do this, you know? And so thank you. Yeah, of course. And that's what I like. It's funny you made that comment. I'm all about money. I really don't care about money. I literally I've been poor. I've been homeless. I've slept on floors. I've had money. I've not had money. And that's, I think, someone struggles when someone sees maybe your life and sees my life. Like, you don't need the cars and the house and the toys. Yeah. As much as people think that that's what's going to make me happy. And I've gone through it where I'm like, man, if I could just make $30,000 more a year or $50,000 more a year, and then you make it and you're like, nothing changed. You just go buy crap, or you burn it, or you put it back in the cycle, or you all of a sudden you're buying this, or you're paying more in taxes. And so people don't realize it's like, if you're not like up here, right, it doesn't matter what you own. It's like I bust my boy Roy's feelings. I'm like, well, you wearing freaking $500 Yeezys all the time. Why do you think you can't do what you want to do? You know what I mean? Like, I wear Ross shoes. I don't care. Yep. Doesn't matter to me. Judge me. Love me some Ross and Marshalls. Dude, I drive my cargo van everywhere around. I don't need a sports car. You know what I mean? Yeah, I just my paid off my car. I'm like, oh yeah, did you have a Honda Civic or something? Yeah. Paid off. No debt. I'm like, yeah. Good. Life's easy. Yeah. Right? Now when money flows, it's like,
just flows and it goes and it flows and it goes.
Yeah. You're a big numbers person. I know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things in the beginning of Awakening. I'm like seeing all these numbers, 1111, da, da, da.
Yeah. So what do the numbers mean? Because I always see you post them on like license plates and stuff, and I never know what they mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'll lead you into the numbers story. I don't know, like, how do you can explain them?
Well, it's like, I think to each their own with the numbers, because there are books like this number means this. I'd say, just what feels like one. It obviously feels like oneness, like we're all one. There's like alignment. Look at it. Two. There's two. There's a group. There's like a lover, maybe. 3, the Trinity. 4, that's always for me like an angel number for some reason. For some reason, 444 is like, oh, the angels are with me. 5 has always been a number of change. So if I see 555, I'm like, something's shifting.
Does it have to be 3 in a row?
No.
Oh, okay.
But
kind of makes it stronger.
Kind of, it feels like more momentum.
Yeah. That's how Asian clients are. They will not buy houses with certain numbers in it.
Oh, yeah.
They will not, like, they will be like, oh, no, we can't look at the house. Why? It has this, and this number in a row, and we can't buy the house.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, nope. We can't even look at it.
Wow.
I'm like, wow. Okay.
Remember, I think we talked about feng shui like back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, the first time I think we really interacted was you were trying to open a coffee shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Still a dream.
But I was going to say, that'd be back in the corporate world. Yeah. I'm surprised you ever tried to, like, move back out to the beach or no?
I thought about it, but just not sure yet. I'm just waiting. I'm happy where I am, and that's like acceptance, just accepting like the house burned down. Like, I'm still like healing from that. That was my escape. I'd go there like once a month.
Yeah, you felt like you were always there.
Yeah, I was there more than I feel like I was here. So, yeah, I'm just waiting for the next thing.
Opportunity.
Which they're coming in quickly.
Yeah.
I've met people, just like I was helping a dying bird in Morro Bay when I was coming back from Cambria. I was house sitting up there, and this bird was dying. I'm like, why is no one helping this bird? And so I run over to it and I put my hands on it, and it's just like struggling, and I'm trying to call the freaking like wildlife people. Some surfer comes up. He happens to be like an author, energy healer, chiropractic psychiatrist guy who house sitter just moved to Wisconsin, and he has 360 acres of like farmland in New Zealand. And I'm like, oh, synchronicity, because I was just thinking like, what am I gonna do next? So there's a lot of things like that begin to happen.
You ever get overwhelmed?
Oh
Yeah.
And then that's when I know, like, just chill. Don't even worry about doing. Just go sleep for a day if you need to. And I feel like I have that luxury. I've just created my life in that way where like I don't have a business to run.
I couldn't even take a nap.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like I exist sometimes, just to like nap for you.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's like the yin and yang. You know what I mean? When I look at people and I don't even know how, like, they do way more than I do, and I can't even take a nap. Like, I can't imagine how much they're doing.
Yeah.
I would go crazy.
Yeah.
I think I'm like in a zen space right now where I'm doing a lot, but I still have my own life that I can go live.
Yeah, and you're getting out.
Yeah, I get out a lot.
That's
I might go
huge.
mountain bike after this, actually.
Good. I was going to tell you, like, after this, like, go move your energy.
I think I'm going to go mountain bike after this. It's a little hot outside, but we'll see.
I know.
Can we get cooler weather around here?
Can we get some regenerative farmers up here?
Can we get some rain? I really want some rain.
Yeah.
Snow was awesome last week. I haven't been in snow in a long, long time.
I was up in Lake Hemet by Idlewild. I was just like, this is crazy awesome. It's like big snow place. Like,
So in the future, what do you kind of, you going to want to start doing more house sitting, or you just kind of go with the flow?
I go with the flow, but the goal is just to really put myself more out there for people to receive information, help, guidance, spiritual, like when they want to start their spiritual journey, whether they're doing a business, there's always room for more magic, I think. So yeah, just putting myself out there. I've been literally thinking about a podcast for the last year.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
Oh, wow.
I just was talking to a girlfriend, like last Monday. And I'm like, dude, you want to do a podcast? Because she has her like TikTok and all these things. And
where's she out of?
She's in Morro Bay. Oh. And I met her she was following me on Instagram, and she's like, dude, you inspired me. And she's like, I just made $11,000 like off TikTok because you gave me confidence to like put myself out there. And I'm like, see, every time I make a video, every time I do a little stupid story thing, I'm like, I have 3 things that I think about. Is this going to inspire someone? Is it going to make them laugh? Or is it going to like conjure more love in their hearts? So if I can help one person, even though it took me 4 hours to make a stupid little video, I'm happy, because that one person might go change like hundreds of lives.
And that's why I wish Instagram, this is why I hate social. And sometimes I make jokes, I wish I was a girl, because like I'm all about like pushing content. Just like you're pushing content, we're just pushing different content. I'm trying to motivate people on coming from nothing to, if you want to run a company or you want to do podcasts or you want to help people in whatever way. Like I feel like I try to help people with media. That's my niche. You're trying to spiritual. But it's like, God, people just use social. Like some of the stuff I've seen you push out, I'm like, dude, this should be getting like 10 times more views. And I'm like, but then the stupid like flat girl like blinking her eyes on the camera gets her like 500 views or 5,000 views or whatever. And I'm like, that's so dumb.
It's the algorithm.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And that's why I hate Instagram.
Me too.
Because it's like, okay, like if I like you're living off likes that are so like empty. They're nothing, except that's like the currency right now is that. And you're living on a currency that doesn't exist. It doesn't make you, it doesn't like, maybe if that's your business. But I know so many people, it's like, dude, you live and die off followers. And it's like, that's not your, like, that doesn't do anything for you. And then it's like, what if tomorrow Instagram changes and says no more, like, you don't see your likes anymore? Yeah. Like, then there goes your currency.
Which I kind of wish they would.
I wish they would. I wish they would just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and then it's like, out of those 5,000, 10,000, whatever likes, you maybe know 4 of them. And then if you're a girl, half of them, 95% of them are just dudes. Yeah. Wanting to try to get at you. Yeah. And then slide into your DMs.
Oh, God.
I slide into people's DMs to do podcasts. That's about it.
Thank you.
I'm like, anyone want to do a podcast? That's all I want is podcasts. That's it. Because, but that's the thing. And that's the problem that I like think of what are really people, I think why like negativity thoughts are. Because it's like, even people have asked me like, why have you been posting less? I'm like, dude, I've been trying to like dive back because I've been getting heat because of mask and social distancing and like this and that. And like, how do you do it? It's like, dude, I just need a break. Like the negative starts getting to me. Or then when I hear other people like, oh yeah, you're the guy that has a guy following you on the camera. Like, yeah, so like, oh, you're so egotistical. I'm like, I'm really not. I'm just making content for other people, Yep. It's like you're mad at yourself because you don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is. It's like you don't want to put yourself out there.
And they're scared.
They're scared.
Fear overwhelms most
so many people.
It's crazy.
I think that's like my opening was reading and like following like 4 people, and they basically made me think like you just have to like do it every day. Yeah. And sometimes I feel like I get off track, and then I kind of have to go back to those few people to like get back on track mentally. Yeah.
Do you follow Lewis Howes?
Yeah. Yeah. So Lewis actually, I emailed Lewis. That's funny you brought him up. I emailed Lewis when in 2014 I was in the Dominican, and that's when like School of Greatness just was coming out. And so I was listening to this podcast. I would listen in the car from the stadium, or like from the hotel to the stadium, which was like sometimes like 4-hour drive. So I would listen to his podcast. And it was kind of like, he kind of was like, I felt like I was kind of like where he was at. Like, he was a football player, broke his arm, then was sleeping on his sister's couch or whatever. And like, I was in baseball, and I was like, this is probably going to end soon. What am I going to go do? And I remember emailing him, and he actually responded. And then all of a sudden, like, I kind of like fell off, and then all of a sudden he's like massive. And I'm like, where the heck did that like,
yep.
You know what I mean? And so, I started listening to him like when he first started.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing is like, he went from the journey of the, down and out and blah, blah. Me and my best friend Daniel, he was a minor league baseball player, and he would always get hurt and ended up getting released. And he was a 3rd-round draft pick, and everyone thought he was going to go to the big leagues. And we always talk about it. It's like, maybe if you would have made it, like, you'd been miserable. So I tell myself, it's like, you would not have, what does he have? 4 kids now? Like, in your, like, family life, you'd be gone all the time. You'd be living on the road. Yeah, you'd have more money. Your house, your family would be a little bit different, but would you maybe even still be married? Or would you kids even know who you are?
Exactly.
That's why people need to realize, like, money and all that stuff will not make you happy.
Jim Carrey always talks about that. He's like, I have it all. Doesn't make you happy.
Jim Carrey's crazy sometimes.
Oh, he's nuts.
He goes off the chains.
Hollywood will do that to you.
I bet you, yeah. Well, especially as he's been in for so long.
Yeah, I've seen it all.
Yeah, and then now it's like you never get like, you know, back in the day it was just like paparazzi's on a magazine. Now with the internet, like, you can't get away from it ever.
Mm-mm. I do not, like...
Do you have a flip phone or no?
No,
Oh.
I did.
Did you? I thought about going back to him. I want to get a pager, actually.
Right?
I really want a pager.
If you really want to talk to me, like, just page me and I'll call you back.
Exactly. I'm a terrible texter, too.
Yeah.
I hate texting. Big phone call guy.
I'm not a good phone caller. I'll rather text. Because if I get on the phone, it seems to be, like, sometimes it's just a lot of talking. So, like, text for me.
No, I hate texting. I'm a big phone call guy. Just because texting for me is like always just like, it's like
a quick
back and forth.
Same.
When I'd rather like make a call and rather than, and then I can vibe off that person and I can feel their vibe. Because in a text, it's the worst. I can't.
No, it's not a form of communication, truly.
It's literally passing notes.
Yeah.
So are you excited to do a card reading? I'm really excited.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's end this podcast. One time we're at 50 minutes. So why don't you tell people how they can see you and or get a hold of you, because there's probably some people out there that are in the same position you were back in the day. And sometimes I think I'm in that position where I don't want to quit, and then like a day goes by, I'm like, I'm fine. I only need like an hour break. I don't need a day's break. So why don't you tell people how to follow you, how to get a hold of you, how if they want to reach out to you, what's the best way? Yeah,
the best way right now is just Instagram, at ONE Cosmic Love. And otherwise, like, email me, onecosmiclove@iCloud.
Who does email?
I know, but I'm old school.
Yeah, I still do it. Well, thank you so much. It inspires me to see what you're doing. I hope you know that, because it's something completely different, and it's very hard to do different than the world thinks, because we're brainwashed to think that we need the grind and that's the only way, and and so I definitely appreciate your inspire me to take a break from once in a while, and it's awesome to see every day.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, first podcast done.
Woo!
Now you can tell that girl, hey, I did a podcast. It's not that hard, and you can do a podcast.
Yep.
What would be the podcast name?
Oh, I don't know. Got any ideas?
Maybe we'll talk about it after this. This is what I'm good at. So appreciate your time. Until next, guys. Peace.